Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. So today on Yu-Gi-Oh Twitter, apparently, there was a big argument, I would say, or conversation pieces of if Yu-Gi-Oh is too expensive, and obviously certain cards are very expensive, things like SP Little Knight, One Tin, etc., etc. Um, those cards are very expensive, but do I think you need those cards to play the game? Absolutely not. You can absolutely still play the game and enjoy it and compete and have fun, or even go to your locals and have fun and enjoy and play, and et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not going to get into the actual conversation piece. I just wanted to go over a little challenge that I did. I actually had an idea while talking to people about this on Twitter. So it actually, for me at least, came out into something positive that I like to think I can help people. And I think this is a good start. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in and show you guys what the idea was. So during this argument, I said I have an idea. I want to build budget decks for people who want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Give me a budget and I will build you, or I'll build it for you so you can try to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! So when I say this, I wanted people to actually give me a deck that they want to play, and I will try to make it in their budget. So they give me a deck and a budget, and I will try my best to get it to you in that budget range. And this is what I went with. This is what I rolled with. And two people that you may know commented and gave me some stuff to do. So Yadalot said $20 seems funny. So I said I got one for 50, but then I actually went lower and I did get one lower. I got him below the $20. So there is a one in here for that low. And then DB Grinder also said 150, but then he wanted to make it Purrely, so we upped it to 200 for the Purrely deck. But I actually think that Purrely is like it's an easy-ish one. This challenge one was easier one. It was like I could probably get this down to 150. I'll talk to you about it. It's going to be the first one we talk about for the Purrely deck. But yeah, this is just something I've wanted to consider. So for 200, I think this one was pretty easy. So we're going to start with that one. And I also want to say, if you guys have any decks and budgets that you want to try making, you don't know what cards or maybe substitutes that you want to use, but you know what you want to play, message me on Twitter. I want to keep doing this if I can, or find this post and comment on it. I would like to keep doing this if I can, and I will put you probably at the start of the video, and I will just talk about the deck and put it on here as, if this is something that you guys enjoy. So overall, hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please subscribe, and again, message me if you have any ideas. But let's jump into these deck lists. Okay, guys, so like I said, Purrely was the first one to start with. This is the one that DB Grinder asked me to do. And this list right here, minus the side deck, we are not including side deck here, is 177. So I actually still had a lot of room here, but I only put what was like completely necessary. And this is still like, you can switch this around and make this even cheaper if you wanted to, or you can make it more expensive. There's a lot of room here. So obviously 3 Purrely, 3 Purrely, 3 My Friend Purrely, 1 Delicious Memory, 3 Happy Memory, 3 Pretty Memory, and 2 Sleepy Memory, 1 Yeep, 3 Street, 3 Ash, 3 Valor, 3 Bell, 3 Crow, 2 Talents, 3 Rainbow Bridge, and 1 Crystal and Cobalt Eagle. And then we actually had enough budget for Zeus, so Zeus was definitely going in here because it's a Purrely deck. And then Downward as well, because Downward got reprinted. It's super cheap. 2 Beauty, 2 Happy, 1 Plump, 2 Noir, and then Fucho, the Weirless, gonna text directly, I forget its name. I think it's Starling or something. Sylvan Princess Sprite, 2 Baby Noir, and then 1 of the Agent Moon. We just kind of went back to an old Purrely list, like older type Purrely list for this. But like the deck still works like fundamentally the same. Like Purrely is like, it's really just like once you get the engine going, and then its non-engine can really put a lot of support in. It really depends on what that non-engine support is and what it does. So for now, I am doing the Salvation package because 1, it's extremely cheap. 2, getting to Purrely Street is extremely annoying to deal with. It card is so frustrating, and it like the having to not be able to target the Purrely monsters is so goddamn annoying playing against this deck. So this is just a baseline list that you can start with, but I also have other things in the side deck that you can play for like these slots here, because the talents were like $3 to $4 each, and the Zeus was the big one, which was like, I remember right, he was like $16 for the cheapest one that was on TCG Player. But again, if you like cut both of those. You can get this down to the 150 if you wanted to, and then play something else that are in here. Like Browse are extremely cheap as another discard engine. Same thing with Snow, Grapha, and the Rainbow. Like the Dark World cards are extremely powerful, good at pushing through things and putting a lot of damage on board. But I would recommend going more in a Link direction with that, but that would depend on the person making the deck. But I kept this as consistent as possible for the competitive play of it. And then, of course, other hand traps, Nib and Droll, these are also still really, really cheap because of the 25th anniversary direction. I'm just want to make this very clear. If you do not have, like, hand traps right now, and they are in the 25th anniversary collection, just get the supers. Like, just get them. There's no reason to not get them because they are at their cheapest that they're going to be right now. So just get them out of the way. Yeah, just wanted to say that. Azalea's in here. She is also pretty expensive. She's like $15, but that was like in case you didn't want to play Earth. But again, you have the room if you wanted to play it. So again, up to you. But this is just, again, another option that you have because there was some still budget left. The other Starling, this one actually searches DD Crow. So I put it in here because you go into this, search Crow, and then maybe you can make a Zeus play. The F-Zero and Ghost Trick package was the last thing I wanted to talk about. This is actually pretty budget. Like, this whole package by itself is less than $10, which I thought was pretty solid and very tempting to play. I'm not going to play it in the main deck right now, but it is something that you can definitely consider if you wanted to make this, because F-Zero is a very annoying card, especially with something like Fire King starting to pick up more. F-Zero not being able to be destroyed is pretty annoying to deal with, so I think that's like a pretty solid choice if you wanted to use that. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the Purrely deck. I hope DB Grinder sees this and enjoys it. But again, it's sadly, I think it was the easiest and kind of most standard boring one. I'm sure he would agree, out of this list. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into the next deck list. Okay, guys, so this is going to be a hero deck list. This is less than $50 for this deck list. Again, this is just main deck and extra deck. Side deck is other options, of course, but this is under $50 we got this down. I remember heroes being so expensive, with Forest being so much money, Increase was so much money at some point. Like, this deck used to be so much money. Fusions, Destinies, and this deck, this got reprinted and became, like, very, very cheap very quickly. So yeah, just if you wanted to play hero, this is a great time to pick it up because it is cheap. So again, we're going to go over the list and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So 3 Stratos, 2 Malicious, 1 Plasma, 1 Dark Angel. This card is an excellent win con. 1 Denier, 2 Shadow Mist, 3 Forest, 2 Increase, 2 Vion, 3 Hero Lives, 1 Rhoda, 1 Poly, 1 Miracle Fusion, 1 Liquid Soldier, 3 Fusion Destiny, 3 Mash Change, and 1 Call by the Grave, 3 Veiler, 3 Crow, and 3 Ash for the main deck. And for the extra deck, 1 Trinity, 1 Phoenix Enforcer. I forget the Mask Hero Wind Monster's name. It bounces back, or I forget his name. I think it's Great Tornado or something. Or maybe that's the other Mask Hero. But the Mask Hero Wind, he's not worth a lot. 2 copies of Dark Law, 1 copy of Sunrise. This could be a 2-of, by the way. You actually still have another like $3 budget. So you could play a second Sunrise and make it exactly 50. But again, like, this is just like more of a challenge thing to do it. But it's nice to have to be able to go like make Sunrise with Poly, and then you can like get Miracle Fusion, then Miracle Fusion to get like another Sunrise maybe. But again, you don't have to do that, just an option that you can do. Master Hero Acid, Destiny Hero Dangerous, Elemental Hero Escarado, 2 copies of Cross Crusader, 1 of the X Hero, Link 3, I forget his name, and Wonder something, Wonder Driver, X Hero Wonder Driver. This resets the polys and the mash changes, so this card is really, really good, and you know, something to keep in mind. And then for the like non-engine extra deck hero stuff, which is Babushka and Dweller, you can use these to stall against something like Shifter. Being able to make Babushka after like a hero lives, and you get Shifter, you can go like hero lives, Stratos for like another Stratos. Normal summon that Stratos gets the 3rd Stratos, and you make Babushka against stuff like Flu and Cash. It's just an option. It's pretty solid in my opinion to be able to beat something like Shifter, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, so that's the main deck. And the extra deck, again, fitting these non-engines, super important. This is like standard for a lot of decks, is that you need like at least 9 non-engine for most decks, I would say. So this works out really well. And then you also have you have like 3 amazing win cons in this deck. Actually you have 4 now I think about it. You have Dark Law, Trinity, Plasma, and Dark Angel. All of these cards can like win a game by themselves, no problem. And then if you're going against like a back row heavy deck, like something like Acid can blow out the game as well. So you have a lot of options with heroes. Of course, you still have like the normal things that heroes lose to, things like Nibiru is like a big one. But you know, you have to like, and I'm not like a hero player. But I've seen very good hero players play around something like Nibiru. So I mean, it's pretty cool, pretty neat. But just again, something to consider. Again, for less than $50, I think this is definitely strong and definitely good, and can definitely beat up a lot of the decks that are in the meta currently, at least. For what we have in the side deck is other, again, topics. What's it called? Absolute Zero is like $10 for some reason. Again, if you have the budget, I would recommend this card. Very strong, excellent card with Liquid Soldier, because you can search Liquid Soldier, use it, and then banish it with Miracle Fusion, make 0. Very good. But again, $10 for a card that was printed all the way back in like 2000, like I don't know, like 8 or 9 or 10. It was in a Jump magazine, or a manga. Way too expensive for what it is right now, at least in my opinion. The Honest Neos for maybe some OTK plays with Trinity. Again, you have that option. All Out Elemental Hero in the Neos package. I personally am not a big fan of this. The hero is also like $10 to $15 if I remember right. It's just like a lot of cards that are not that great to me. Like in like my competitive Yu-Gi-Oh brain, like you have to play a lot of cards that don't do anything between these three. And you're already playing stuff like Mali, Denier, Dark Angel, Plasma, like a bunch of cards that already do nothing and require other stuff. Like these do it even more. These are extremely good interrupts though. Like these are definitely an option. They're not crazy expensive. Again, like depending on what your budget is, but this is just like under 50. These are very solid options for extra interruptions and stuff you can make. And then like other generic stuff is like Imperm, Upstart, Nib, Droll, Bell. I think those are all like pretty solid. These, like, again, it's all non-engine that you can pick up right now for cheap, like less than like $3 a copy for each of these, which is like insane to me. But that also depends where the format goes. And I also wanted to give mention to the Evil Hero package, because that package is also really cheap right now. I couldn't believe that Bane was only like $1. I forget if I looked up gold. Gold, I actually didn't look up, but I can't imagine it being that much. If Bane's $1, I can't imagine gold being that much. And then you would only play like a couple copies anyway, like 1 or 2. And then with the spell to fuse for Bane. And this card not being able to show by card effects, again, very annoying for Fire King to deal with because it can't Kieran pop it. So just something to keep in mind. And also the other Destiny hero, if you want to play it, you can. I'm not playing it right now. It's cool with Fusion Destiny for like an easier Dark Angel time, but you really don't need it. Like Phoenix Enforcer is so good. This card's also crazy cheap. It's like $3, and this card it's still broken. This card is still like an obnoxious card. It's just you have to use it in heroes now. So again, for $50, I think this is pretty good. Let me know what you guys think. But for a $50 budget, I think this hero deck is pretty solid and can definitely win games. Now, last deck, $10. I got this deck done for less than $10. Let me know what you think it is. It is not Appliancer. Yadalock said it was going to be Appliancer. It is not Appliancer. So we ended up doing Dinosaur. Dinosaur is crazy cheap. Again, these cards are so powerful. And Misk is still at 1. This card is so broken. But these cards are so cheap. They're insanely cheap. Everything from... Hang on. I had this priced out to where everything was change. So everything in the main deck, I'll tell you right now, is change except for Diagram. Everything in there. When I'm saying change, it's like 50 cents or less. It's not even like you're like cracking the 50 cent mark. You are like at 50 cents or below, and I'm pretty sure 50 cent was like Call by the Grave and like maybe 1 for 1. Everything else was like less than 50 cents. Pancras House might have been more, the commons, but for again, Wild Survivors made this deck so cheap. It's ridiculous, and it's still strong. It can still OTK you, no problem. You are dead against Dinosaur still. That line of play is still around. They can still OTK you. So for the main deck, 3 Adamasaur, Archosaur, whatever, however you pronounce it. 3 copies of Baby Ceresaurus, 3 UTC, 1 Misk, 3 Oviraptor, 2 Ultimate Double Evolution Pill, 3 Fossil Dig, 3 Lost World, 3 Petite Pterodon, 1 Giant Rex, 3 Dark Hole, 3 Pot of Extravagance, 1 Terraforming, 2 Pancratops, 1 for 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Dragonic Diagram. This card's $1 and like 60 something right now, which is crazy because this card is just also insane. 2 copies of Lithosagum. This card's effect to rip the extra deck is so dumb. It's such a dumb effect that nobody remembers, but that card can win a game by itself, ripping like high impact cards out of an extra deck. And then 1 copy of Set Rotation because we're playing the Diagram. In the extra deck, 3 copies of Lagia and Dolka each. These are only like 70, like one was like 78 cents or like 79 cents each, and then the other one was like 25 cents each or 15 cents each or something, because of the reprints. This got reprinted to oblivion. Amirage, this would be where Link Rebo is. If you have Link Rebos, use those, but they are way more. Amirage is 17 cents, so you can, if you normal summon the dinosaur, you can just link it off for this and then do the Secure Garden line for the pill. It still works perfectly fine. It's the same thing. It's just if you special Archosaur, you can't do it. So if you 1-for-1 for Archosaur, cannot do that line. Please remember that. One copy of Baguska, one Dweller, one Tornado Dragon, just a little variety that you can use, that you were able to splash into this deck to give you other options for end boards and stuff other than just Lagia and Dolka. But again, especially with Pankratops to 2 and being able to play Dark Hole, I think Dark Hole is like really underestimated. Like being able to like set a baby and then activate Dark Hole is still very annoying. That is like such a frustrating line to go against because you lose your board, and on top of that, they have a trigger going off. And if like, it's frustrating because it protects your baby in a way, right? Because if your opponent has a trigger that is triggering off the destruction of Dark Hole, your baby's chaining 1, and then their triggers are chaining 2. So they also can't ash the baby. Like a lot of the times they can't ash the baby, and then you can like summon the Oviraptor, and then if their trigger leads into another trigger, it's the same exact thing, and they can't touch the Oviraptor. Or now that Oviraptor's on the field, if you already have something like Misk in your hand, you can protect it now. So again, like really, really strong. It's a nice way to get to Oviraptor. Something else that I actually wanted to talk about in here that is not in here was the Scrap Engine. The Scrap Engine is also pretty cheap, but you can play it. Again, it's just too many bricks for me personally. But yeah, like they're also like extremely cheap. So it's just something to keep in mind and something to think about when you're making this. But Dinosaur, man, for a deck that used to terrorize the format that has won events before, this is crazy cheap. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you again to DB Grinder and Yadalocked for suggestions and helping me start this up. And if you guys have any decks that you want a budget for and a deck list to try out, please let me know. Message me on Twitter. I think that is probably the best way to contact me for this. And then I will we will talk about it in whenever I do another video of these. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe if you did. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.